Hello and welcome to Tip of the Ice with Jake Berg. It's my first episode with an actual name. It's a pun because I was always called an iceberg growing up. Get it? I got it. Today we have Cameron McBeth. He is a fitness rock star, guru, and really awesome dude all around. Welcome, Cameron.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You're an amazing dude. How did we meet?
We met at Crunch Fitness, and I was a personal trainer there. And then that's when I first met you. Was the owner of the gym, or I guess the manager, introduced me to you, and you guys were originally friends from high school or knew each other in high school. And then we started working out together, and I was training you. And as we developed our relationship, it just got to the point where you guys were looking for someone to help out with Dubsado. And I was currently looking for a little bit more to do than just personal training. So it just fit.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've never asked you, like, how was I as a client, as a personal training client?
Awesome. Yeah, it was good. I actually had a lot of female clients at that point in time. And so it was nice to have like another bro to work out with, so it was definitely cool.
Yeah, we did sometimes spend most of the time just talking about it, so.
Just chatting about life.
Yeah. Yep. There was that one time I had a dream about you working out, and then the next day we had that exact same workout from the dream.
Of us just talking.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Yeah, but I think it was like very meaningful because then you like committed to working at Dubsado like a week later. So
yeah,
and we talked about it that day. So it was pretty cool how it all worked out.
Yeah,
it awesome. Stood out from the beginning because you were a really good instructor and could give really clear instruction and give good, honest feedback without being insulting about it.
Yeah,
and just you're pretty motivating and just. Pushing you through the sets, like, okay, you got 3 more to go, even though I probably would have quit if I was by myself.
Yeah.
So that's good. I think you're doing that with a lot of the calls that you take too.
Absolutely.
Like coaching them through it and saying, you're almost there, like 3 more reps or just like, just apply this workflow 3 more times to make sure like you got this.
3 more clicks. It's just 3 more clicks and you're done.
Yeah. So enough about work. Iowa. It's a big part of who you are.
Oh man, what can I say about Iowa?
I think we should get into maybe some of your early career in Iowa, some of your past jobs. You have some pretty crazy stories.
Yeah. So for anyone who does not know me, I'm extremely city. Like I like nightclubs. I like nightlife, different cultures. I love just being in a city where it's just concrete. Like that's what I love. And I grew up in a small farm town, about 900 people. We don't have any stoplights. It's all stop signs. We have like 1 stop sign. It's just the exact opposite of how I am as a person. So growing up there was very different, but at the same time, it's all I knew. So living there, it's like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be and this is where I'm from, and it's just natural. But then after living out here, I realized how much not I am Iowa, but I'm also thankful for growing up there because it taught me family values and it taught me appreciating the little things and appreciating, not being in the industry right from the start and that kind of grind. But a lot of my earlier jobs was I did retail, I did telemarketing, where I used to get cussed out on the daily. What else? I also worked on farms. I did construction. I had to work with pigs a lot. Can
we get into the pig story a little bit?
I mean, we can just a little bit. It's always embarrassing to talk about, but it is the foundation of my first job. So my first job that I ever had, I was working for a family friend, and my job was to make sure that the pigs had intercourse. And the reason why is because the family friend, he bred pigs and he sold them. So in order to do that, you have to obviously have male and female pigs on your farm. And so the only way to tell which one was going to be pregnant was to mark them. So that was my job, was to mark the pigs that were pregnant after watching them do the thing.
Got it. Yeah. Enough said.
Yeah, that's enough on that.
So how did you get into like fitness?
So with my fitness journey, when I was in high school, I was a four-sport athlete. I played sports all the time when I was in high school. I was in really good shape. Got to college. I played a little bit of sports, not anything on an actual team, but I did intramurals and I did all that sort of thing. But then after college, I stopped working out, stopped being active, and I got really, really overweight. And it wasn't until I heard people who were close to me start to talk about, me being overweight, and I used to be in shape and I used to look like this, and all of a sudden I don't look like that anymore. Even the girl I was dating at the time was saying like, oh, do you remember when you used to look like? And so after hearing that over and over again, it just kind of, whenever I get into this funk, or when I get my mindset on something, I just go. And it was one of those things where hearing everyone say that got me in this mood of like, okay, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. And then I just hit the ground and I just never look back. And that was actually 3 years ago next month.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have like a birthday party for it, like the day it changed?
I need to. Yeah, I think it was November 9th, I believe, is when I first started in the gym 3 years ago in 2014. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that it's been that long. And when I was growing up, I used to have a hard time sticking it to stuff. Whenever I would start it, I would always stop and I would do this and then stop. But for some reason, once I started seeing results in the gym, I couldn't stop. I just had to keep going.
Is there any advice for that? Is it just the fact that you saw a result and you knew if you just kept doing it, it would work out? Is there anything you could say that if you wanted something, is there like a carrot you can dangle in front of your face or a technique you can do to make sure you get back in, say, the gym every day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all comes down to knowing why you're there. Obviously, when it comes to motivation, I always tell people that you need to always be looking for some other type of motivation every single day, because it can be hard, especially how attention is so all over the place now that, your attention's distracted here and here. But I think it's important to always find motivation every single day, whether it's someone that you look up to, like a fitness entrepreneur that you see all the time, that you're like, oh man, I want to look like this person.
The Rock.
The Rock, he's absolutely number one on my list for celebrities. But for me, my why was I just had that voice in the back of my head that was, oh, Cameron, I remember when you used to look like this, or I remember, and I always would just keep that replaying in my head. And that kind of got me over those days where I was like, I don't really want to go. But then I would hear that voice and I would say, no, I need to go to the gym. And once I actually got to the place where I was back in shape, then I had to really start finding more motivation, because once I got in shape and had people saying, oh, you're in shape now, you look good, that voice kind of went away because all the praise kind of outweighed that, one or two or three people that critiqued me. So then I had to start looking at, oh, I want to look like this, or my biceps could be a little bit bigger, or I could be a little bit more cut. And that was kind of my motivation every day to keep going.
Just little improvements after that.
Yeah, just little tiny improvements.
If you get any bigger, I think you won't be able to fit in the car with us on the way to lunch.
Just going to take steroids. That's it. Just roids.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I think you touched on a lot of good points there. And you have three things that you have: your fitness, your faith, and your music. Mm-hmm. How do you tie all these things together?
I think that motivation is the overall aspect of it. I've been doing music since I was 15, and so it's always been a part of my life. I love music. I love listening to new music, discovering new music, writing music. I love performing. So that's always kind of been my lane. But then also growing up in Iowa, nobody really does music and sticks with it or wants to make a career out of it. It's always a hobby. And then when it comes to fitness, where I'm from, fitness is not a huge thing either. A lot of people aren't in fitness. And when it comes to faith, that's kind of the tying thing into it all. But the whole overarching thing of what I want to do is encourage people that it doesn't really matter where you're from or what your background is or the things that you've been through, who's been in your life, anything like that. If it's something that you're passionate about, you can do it regardless of what other people say or what circumstances you've gone through or what the world will tell you. This is exactly how you should be, because what I should be is living back in Iowa, married to a high school sweetheart, raising a family there. That's what you do in Iowa, which is cool, but my mind and my heart, my soul, everything that was in me was telling me, no, you need to go out to LA. And so that's kind of what I want to encourage people is it doesn't matter what the environment is around you. You have to follow your heart, have to follow your gut, the things that you love to do. You just have to follow that regardless of what it is.
Yeah. What if you decide later, like, oh man, I messed up. I'm not really interested in music anymore or fitness, and you just like decide to go back to Iowa and marry your high school sweetheart?
Well, I mean, if that is the case, and I've always thought about this when it comes to music and everything, because a lot of people will say, okay, well, how long do you chase a dream before you give up on it? Like, how long is where you say, okay, I need to give up on this? But for me, I always told myself that as long as I go to sleep and it's what I'm thinking about, as long as I wake up and it's what I want to do, I'm going to continue chasing. It doesn't matter if I'm, 30, 40. If it's something that I'm still passionate about, I always will be. So until my passion changes, I won't ever stop. But if my passions become Iowa and I have that feeling of, man, I really want to move back and, this is what I feel passionate about is moving back to Iowa, then I would do it, because I think that in life, that's what you need to do is what you're passionate about. And then also, involving self-awareness and realizing what your talents are and what you're good at. When you combine those two things, and obviously with the faith factor of knowing why you're here, your purpose on earth, why God has you here, combining all of those things into a mold, that's where you know where you're supposed to go. So that's kind of, and I know with Iowa, there's not a lot I can really contribute there with what I'm good at, singing, dancing, acting. It's not really the place for me. So that's kind of how I know that that's not where I'm supposed to be right now.
Yeah, that's pretty logical.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to be an agricultural engineer when I went to college, and I wanted to improve farming and stuff like that. So
Iowa,
we could have had opposite lives. Like, we could have passed in the air. Like, I'm landing in Iowa looking for a farm.
So many jobs for you, like ridiculous amount of jobs.
Yeah, I didn't get accepted to that college.
Which one?
It was
Iowa State?
No, it was here in California.
Oh.
It was just my top school. Actually, I don't know. Actually, I care so little for college, especially now looking back on it, that I don't remember if I got accepted to it.
Yeah.
I think it was just, I wanted to go through college and experience everything instead of just picking one thing.
Instead of learning, yeah.
So
I think that's what everyone wants to do now, is just experience what college is like, because nowadays education is, do you really need it? I mean, except for if you need to be a doctor, or where you have to have a doctorate, but
yeah, or if you're an engineer, I think that there are some very practical applications for school, but I think we should maybe create a new branch of education or something that's the experience branch.
Teach you how to do taxes.
Definitely. I think that was the most scary thing coming out of college is I have to do taxes now?
Yeah, real life stuff that they don't teach you.
Yeah, real life is scary. But I like to stay positive and know that every challenge can be conquered. You just put your mind to it, and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out whatever comes up. Your love for Sharkies knows no bounds.
Shout out to Sharkies.
I don't know if Sharkies is like a national branch. I don't know if everyone's going to know what Sharkies is, but it's
I don't know. I've never heard of it until I moved out here.
It's like a Mexican food place that honestly isn't really that good.
And it's not really Mexican either to me. Depending on what you get. Because
yeah, your thing is so American almost, just meat and vegetables.
So a background for this, when I first started learning about nutrition, I would meal prep every single day. I would wake up, and for about 2 hours, I would cook 7 meals that I would eat throughout the entire day. And I did that every day. And I would have literally chicken breasts, broccoli, and rice every single meal 7 times a day when I first started. Because that's what you do. That's what bodybuilders do. That was the whole thing. Oh, chicken, broccoli, and rice every single meal. So I did that, and I got so used to eating it that it didn't bother me anymore. So then I come to Sharkies, and what do they serve? Chicken, broccoli, and rice, or steak, broccoli, and rice, steak, broccoli, sweet potatoes. And I'm like, I don't have to cook this anymore. This is a dream come true, and it tastes better. That's the only reason I love it, is because it's what I was so used to. And then now it's available and it tastes better, and I don't have to cook it.
Dang, that's crazy. I think you put it up on Instagram at least once a day.
I need a sponsorship. Like, I need Sharkies to contact me and say, hey, will you be our spokesperson? And we'll give you free Sharkies, and you just post it on your Instagram. And I would absolutely in a heartbeat.
Well, we got to get LaCroix as a sponsor too, because
LaCroix, if you're watching this, we drink about 1 million cans of this a day. 1 million cans.
yeah, what I think they should do is provide us with a keg,
Yeah.
a huge, just monstrous keg where we could just tap it.
Yep.
You know,
A couple different flavors. Give us obviously the grapefruit. That's like a favorite.
Yeah,
And then just like 2 other flavors, like 3 kegs.
that's the least they could do.
Absolutely. A lot of business coming your way.
All right, Cameron. Well, is there anything else that I forgot about you? I mean, you know you better than anybody.
Yeah. No, I mean, faith, music, and fitness is really everything that has to do with my brand. It's what I want people to see when they see me, or whenever my name gets brought up, they know exactly what they're getting. You know, like we were talking about The Rock. When you look at The Rock, you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting movies and the entertainment business. You're getting fitness and, you know, his philanthropy work and things like that. But you know what you're getting. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I want people to take away from what it is that I do, that I'm just involved in music and fitness, is my 2 kind of platforms that I've built my life on. And then all of that's wrapped into faith and me just trusting that the path that I'm on and the purpose that God has for me is there.
All right, man. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.